Good evening everyone, I'm Nathan here with my wonderful wife Laura.
Hello.
And we're here to take a quick look and review of the brand new Monopoly Jurassic Park.
Ooh, I'm super excited. I love Monopoly, and Jurassic Park is one of my favourite movies, and yours.
Yes, my father took me to see when I was 6, not a good idea, and I think very similar age for you.
Yes, so whoops, probably shouldn't have seen it at that age, but yes, so we saw this coming out, we just had to buy it.
Yeah, so it's based on the original Jurassic Park, not the Jurassic World movies. So it's got all the original characters.
And it roars at you.
Or
plays the theme song, which you can turn off, but that all comes into play after we get into it there.
yeah, so let's just take a look at the back.
Just shows you what we're going to see inside.
So you got all the main characters. You've got the I'm terrible with names.
Probably shouldn't try and name them all. It's got all the main characters that you can play as.
Scientist, you get the idea. I'm awful with names. You get the dinosaur, and then of course you've got all sort of the properties and things. We'll take a closer look.
And the bit that was making the noise is the gate, the Jurassic Park gate.
Yeah, this opens up in a weird way.
It's not just there to look pretty; it actually does factor into the gameplay as well. So we're not going to play this because the majority of it is normal Monopoly, but there are some different parts.
Yeah, which we'll get into. And it's presented quite nicely when you open it up.
Yeah, so then you take all of this out. This is pretty much just packaging for the gate,
and then it's sort of, there's no inner tray, unfortunately.
Alright, so we'll just show you all the parts as we go. So you have 2 dice, just as you do in normal Monopolies, but you may notice that one is a standard white with little black dots, and the other one is an amber dice. So and
the amber one does come into play. Usually the red dice is a speed dice. This is actually controlling the movement of the T-Rex piece.
Yes, so you still roll both, you still move with the total of both dice, again, like in normal Monopoly, but this one also, whatever you roll on that one is for the dinosaur, as you said. So, yes, the T-Rex is going to be chasing you around the board.
And causing untold destruction, I hear.
Speaking of the T-Rex, it's actually quite a heavy piece there with a fair bit of detail too.
Which is unfortunate because the actual character moving pieces are nowhere near the quality of the T-Rex.
No, they are much lighter. You can probably tell they're a very different colour as well, and
they're a bit spindly.
The T-Rex is quite a bit heavier. I mean, of course the T-Rex should be bigger than a person, but it's not even made out of the same material.
Look,
so
if you've seen our Bunnings Monopoly and what pieces they had, they're really nice big pieces. And then you look at sort of these ones, and
these are light for what they are, is what we're saying.
And I mean, if you've seen the movie, you can probably guess who they all are. And if you haven't, they sort of just kind of look like moulded mush.
Yeah, you do need to know who they all are from watching. Otherwise, yeah. There's some details on them, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, you know what we're saying.
Yeah. So they're moving pieces, and then we have... How about we show the gates last?
Oh, fences actually, they
fences.
are.
So here we have, they're not properties, they're paddocks, are they?
They are properties, but instead of being for, you know, places to like rent or, you know, to stay, they are the paddocks with the different dinosaurs in them.
I'm not going to pronounce them because I'm awful.
You may notice they are still in their like colour sets, however, there's not houses and hotels and, you know, the costs you would pay for all of those things on there.
In the original Monopoly, if you got all of a colour set, the rent was doubled, and of course you could build house and hotels.
You wouldn't be building houses and hotels in a dinosaur paddock though, so
no.
Here, let me just, how about we use the Brachiosaurus 2 as the example. It has a regular amount of rent, so if you land on it and it's owned by someone, that's what you pay. If they've got a fence, which we'll get to shortly, then it goes up a little bit, you know. The fence offers a bit of protection.
Protection against what, Laura?
Well, the T-Rex.
Ah.
And here is the cost of the fence. That's the only thing you can buy to add on to them.
Correct.
On the back, instead of a mortgage, because you can't mortgage a dinosaur paddock, you have a repair cost.
Now, let me just finish showing the rest of these cars and we'll get into the repair cost on the T-Rex, I think.
Yep.
So you've got all that, instead of the utility and water company, You have the control room and maintenance shed. They function the same as in the original Monopoly. And, go on.
No, you go.
And instead of railways, you've got different roads and paths.
Yep. They all operate again in the same way. So, if you have one road, it's a certain value if someone else lands on it. If you have two, it's a bit more, three, and if you've got all four, well, lucky you.
Oh, I will say one more thing. These cards are really flimsy and cheap.
Yes.
Like, particularly so compared to, say, other versions of Monopoly we've had.
Yes, so we've opened this and had a look. We haven't even played it yet, and it's already dented in the side of one of them. So, unfortunately, the quality is not there with the cards.
Should we look at the board, or should we... Let's look at the board.
Do the board next.
And then we'll explain how the T-Rex works, which is probably one of the main differences in this version.
It is the main difference, yeah. That and the gate, of course. So, we still have our same 4 corners on the board, but in the middle we have a big T-Rex. I love that. I think that's really cool. Mouth wide open, ready to get you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just think it's really cool. Alright, so we have the same 4 corners. Go is
Hang
here.
on, you like this one here.
I do like this. We have kitchen attack with the Velociraptor watching you out of the little kitchen door window.
Which replaces one of the taxes, the super tax or income tax.
Yep, we obviously have the T-Rexes here in the expensive ones. If we come around this way, you'll see that instead of our chance and our community chest, we have cold storage, and we'll get to the other one in a second.
Security breach is the other tax.
Here's one of our roads. And we have the blue set with impact tremor, so that's the other set of cards in place of the chance. And coming round, we still have jail and just visiting.
As per usual on all Monopolies.
Oh, sorry, coming around a bit more. So we have our pink set, I suppose they are, and the control rooms there, another road. Another cold storage
So
space.
I believe all these dinosaurs are pretty much the main ones you see in
hang on.
at least the first movie.
Yeah, they all go in sets as well, so there's not like 3 different ones here. There's
Number 1,
Proceratosaurus. Why did I pick that one to pronounce? 1, 2, and 3 there. But they do show like all the different ones. So as you can see, there's 3 different images of them here. Same with the Gallimimus. There's our maintenance shed.
We go to jail, of course.
Now, T-Rex does not go to jail, just in case anyone was wondering. That's only for the players. Our green set is our beloved Velociraptors.
Oh, kissy Velociraptors.
And then back around to the T-Rex.
Now.
Okay, so let's maybe... Oh, should we leave that open?
We'll leave it open. So the T-Rex.
Where is he? Let's find him. So the T-Rex starts the game when we all start on go. He starts in the opposite corner on free parking.
See if I can move it up.
It's a little bit difficult.
No, we're already at maximum.
Right. So he's going to start over there. The camera won't move up to where we need it to be. So he's going to start over there. We start on go just as you normally would. We would roll both die, but before we move, you move the T-Rex the number on the amber die.
So for instance, if I roll, do you want to pass me the dice? I think they're under there.
We buried them.
There
goes the T-Rex.
We beat him. So say I roll and I go, okay. So the T-Rex always moves first. I would move the T-Rex 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would total value for my 9, and I'd move my character.
As normal. Now, if someone maybe happened to be here, let's pick whoever I just grabbed first, and you moved through or landed on this player, they have to pay 50 Monopoly bucks or dollars or whatever the currency is.
I think that's exactly what happened in the movie as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
So yeah, that's what happens if it passes or lands on you. The other thing it does, if it lands on a property, pardon me,
or a
paddock.
dinosaur paddock. Yep.
If there are no fences protecting it, it damages that particular space. So at the start of the game, you have to lay out all the properties next to all of their...
So all of the deed cards.
Next to all of the spaces they belong to. And if a particular property has been damaged, you'd flip it over and it's in a damaged state.
Yeah, so in the case of this red set, when you start the game and you've got this out on your table or floor, you would have, I haven't got them right, but you would have the 3 of them sitting next to it. Say he's landed on this one, it then goes over to show that repairs are needed for that particular location.
Now that's important because you can't collect rent on damaged properties or paddocks, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, so they do need to be repaired before you can collect any money. Now, if they are still next to the board though, that means nobody owns them yet. They can still be damaged. You can still purchase them if you happen to land on it later.
But you then have to pay the repair cost before you can start collecting rent. So for example, I know that T-Rex 2, all the way down there, the Mayfair of the Monopoly board, is usually $400. But if it's damaged, it's then $200 to repair it. So if it's already damaged when you buy it, you can pay up to $600 just to have it repaired and be able to collect rent again.
Yeah, so here it is. So the repair cost for T-Rex 2 is $200, and like you said, it costs $400 to begin with, so you really don't want to be buying that one when it needs to be repaired instantly.
Now,
I was going to say, if you already happen to, say, have owned this one and then the T-Rex lands on it, just in your hand, you would then turn it over, and again, you have to repair it before you can earn any money.
shall we talk about fences and full property sets?
Sure, so fences for protection.
At the start of your turn, you may purchase any fences for any properties you own. On them, there is a fence cost.
And they vary again depending on which property it is.
So that does two things. One, it boosts the total rent that people have to pay when they land on that property.
Yep. So, for example, rent here is $36, or with a fence is $90. So it's a substantial increase.
And the other thing it does is it offers a buffer if the T-Rex lands on that property. So for instance, if I didn't have a full set of the red, but I had a fence on this one here.
So these actually fold, by the way. They're just a thin cardboard, and then they stand up here.
So I would lose the fence, but the property would remain undamaged. And then next turn, I'd have to either buy another fence for it.
Not repair.
Not repair, but
No.
buy another fence or leave it and hope that it doesn't land on it again. Because if it lands on it again without a fence, it becomes
Then it causes
damaged.
damage. So well worth your while putting in the fences. As you saw, if someone lands on it, you get more money, and it offers protection. Now, you do not have to have a full set to put the fences in. You just have to own one property.
But if you have a full set, say I own all three of the reds, one, I can't lose any fences if a T-Rex lands on it. The fence remains undamaged, the property remains undamaged, and nothing can be damaged.
It's safe, in other words.
Yes.
So still in your best interest to have a full set, even if technically you don't need them to put your fences on. It does, improve things for you. There's no extra cost paid if you have the full set, like if someone else lands on you. In the normal game it'd be doubled. That doesn't factor in.
It's just based whatever's on the card. So for instance, if I had a full set and each had a fence on it, means the minimum for the entirety of the game or thereafter, it'll be $90 for that particular property.
Now, if you didn't have a full set and one of them is damaged, but then you purchase the last ones that you need to complete the set, you automatically get it repaired for free because you've completed the set. So that's a pretty handy way of avoiding paying the repair costs.
There is also two ways for the game to end. One, you bankrupt the other player and all the other players and you're the last one standing.
So same as normal.
The T-Rex damages all of the available properties on the board.
Every single property before you can repair them.
Then no one wins.
Except the T-Rex.
The T-Rex wins and no one actually wins, so...
Yes. Alright, now let's bring in our gate. Oops, didn't mean to push that, sorry. So the gate is 3D. It's got a couple of batteries in there, double A's, I want to say. Just unscrew and you can replace those in the back. It's only got one thing you can push, which is the Jurassic Park name up here.
It's two AAAs.
Oh, there you go, sorry. And as you've heard, it plays two different sounds.
Which are random.
The theme song, and hopefully we get the other one, or the T-Rex.
It's very loud.
It is very loud. Alright, so if we can just move the board over. This is supposed to sit... I might have to move that box out so we can sit this flat. We didn't think this through, did we? Hang on, move those out. So this is supposed to sit in this little section here facing the go corner. Every time you go past or land on go, you have to push the button.
And an outcome happens depending on whether or not you hear the theme song or the dinosaur roar. If you hear the theme song, you pass, go to land on it, you collect $200 as usual.
If you get the T-Rex, however,
yes,
you only get $100.
So that's pretty much the primary function, but the tremors and the cold storage, aka the chance community chest, also have cards on them that say push the button and then different outcomes happen on the card depending on what sound you get.
So let's show some of those and the money. So the money is still in the standard colours and denominations, but we do have the Jurassic Park logo in here. So otherwise, everything else there is the same. I like how they keep the same colours. Just makes it easier if you're familiar with the standard sets.
So much easier.
Instead of going, oh no, I've given you 100 instead of a 50 or whatever.
Alright, so let's take a look at a couple of cards.
So So you've got the cold storage cards here,
Yep.
which is the community chest equivalent.
So the cards follow roughly what the regular cards are in a regular Monopoly, but there's a couple of twists and things like that. Activate the gate, hear music, advance to go, collect $200, hear a roar, roll the amber die, and move the T-Rex back that many spaces. And obviously if the T-Rex happens to go over or land on someone, then they get a penalty.
We should mention as well, if you happen to go past the T-Rex, nothing happens. It's only when he moves over or onto you.
Correct. Another one, activate the gate, hear music, advance to any space, follow the rules of that space, and if you pass go, collect 200. And if you hear a roar, advance to just visiting. If you pass go, do not collect money. So you definitely you don't want to be hearing the roar.
Ever.
Clever girl. So there's actually quite a few quotes from the movie on the cards as well. Girls that go to jail. You didn't say the magic word. Go back 3 spaces and follow the rules. Activate the gate, hear music, advance to any unknown property and get it for free. Hear a roar, move the T-Rex to any one of your properties.
So if you just want to maybe flip through, you can pause and read all the rest of them there if you want to. And we'll grab the Impact Tremor, which is the chance cards. So, yeah, like I said, they're very similar, like they still get out of jail free, but it just adds in a use for the gate rather than it only being past go. Because I think that would have been a little bit disappointing if it was only when you went past go.
Yeah, I think so. There's another one that says you can collect $100 or you can collect $200, but you have to move the T-Rex to one of your properties. So there's a couple of interesting sort of cards in there.
Interesting choices.
I think that's it.
Alright, so then we have, these are the Impact Tremor cards. As you can see, the like T-Rex footprint? Yeah, footprint there with the water in it with the tremor rings. And again, these do follow a very, very similar thing. We have more, again, that use the gate as well, depending on what you get, whether you have to move the T-Rex or roll or onto one of yours. And again, we have the nice little quotes. These are relatively thin though, as well, these cards.
Not quite as thin as the paddock/property cards, which is slightly unusual.
My main concern for these would be about the fences. You have to bend them so that they stand up. I think it'd be very easy to knock them down during gameplay.
I mean, theoretically,
and
you could just
for them
sort of
to get damaged.
You could put them next to it, maybe.
But one knock of the board,
yeah,
and they'll slide. So I think there's a couple of things that maybe they could have done a little bit better.
But obviously, there's no hotels or houses. I wish instead of those, they had little plastic fences.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would have been probably more of a longevity in terms of the game itself.
I agree. So I think it's really cool. I just, like, as we've said, there's a few things that maybe could be slightly better quality. The pieces, our little fences are just cardboard, and if you have a lot of experience with older board games that are made from cardboard, like thin like that, they don't tend to last as well. So,
and this was, I think, 65 or 70, I can't remember.
Depending on where you go for it, yeah. Hunt around because there's varying prices. Very cool though. I'm still really happy we've purchased it because I love Jurassic Park and Monopoly, so.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely one of the better themed ones around.
It is, yeah. It's just the quality of some of them that was the more disappointing part rather than the theming, so. Yeah, pretty cool.
There you go.
If you enjoyed watching this video, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section down below which movie you wish was turned into a Monopoly, or maybe like your favourite movie already is in a Monopoly edition, because there's a lot of them out there.
I was trying to think, and I think most of the ones I like have been turned into Monopolies.
Yeah, me too. Like Lord of the Rings, for example.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and all those Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Hit that subscribe button and check back soon. We have videos every single Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.